How many of you am I going to piss off today? Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel, smash the like button if you like our content, ring that notification bell, share the video if you want to support this college football's rebel outpost with a donation to keep the lights on and grow the channel. Just hit that $sign where you make your comment and I'll get you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend. Today, we make our picks against the spread with the semifinal games. The Miami Hurricanes versus the Ole Miss Rebels and the Indiana Hoosiers versus the Oregon Ducks. Now, I got to tell you, I am one game ahead of you guys. I am one game ahead of you all. I'm 91 and 92. You guys are 90 and 93. But I do not feel good about these games. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be really honest today about a lot of things. And a lot of you are not going to like it. But it's why we are the most unpopular national college football YouTube channel in the country. I have no clue what's going to happen. And I wish I could pretend. I wish I could play Greg the Gold music. I have no idea what's going to happen. None. Zilch. This is college football's peek around the corner, and I am blind as a bat when it comes to these two semifinal games. I have no idea. Look, is Miami going to put a lot of pressure on Trinidad Chambliss? Yes. Is Lacey going to have some difficulties? Yes. Is Miami going to be able to move the ball? I think so. But then again, Chambliss, can he even be denied at this point? And the story that is going on in Oxford with Goldie, can that story even be denied? I don't know. And then Indiana and Oregon. That is way above my pay grade. I have no idea what's going to happen. And that is, and I'm not disrespecting the Oregon Ducks. I'm not disrespecting the Indiana Hoosiers. I have no idea what's going to happen. Davison's out, the running back, good running back for Oregon, but they got other guys. They're finally getting healthy at wide receiver. They have an injury at running back. The Oregon Ducks defense is absolutely legit. They're going to cause the Hoosiers a lot of problems, but Fernando Mendoza finds a way out of it. They run like a well-oiled machine. Indiana Hoosiers is the defense stars on every level of that defense. I have no idea what's going to happen. Dan Lanning is going to gamble. Sometimes he's going to succeed, sometimes not. Is he actually going to pay the price when it doesn't succeed? I have no idea. I might just make you guys pick first. I'll leave that up to you. I have no idea what I'm going to do. None whatsoever. Humble Bumble Duck, I was going to ask if we can borrow a running back or two from anyone. We are running out. Again, Oregon injuries, but again, Oregon is so stacked. George Holton, Greg, you can piss me off by claiming Norvell stays at Florida State. I don't get what's going on. Ashton Daniels. I watched him at Stanford, Auburn. I do not understand. Mike, look, the fat guy from Minnesota and Mike Novell, we are just two ships that have passed in the night. I don't understand what he's doing. Maybe it's going to work out. I'm going to root for it to work out. Maybe it's a Gus Malzahn thing. But I've seen plenty of Ashton Daniels. Plenty. And maybe he'll succeed. You know, he's a little bit bigger. He can run. He's a little bit bigger. A lot of turnovers. My question is there anything better that Florida State can do? I don't know. Rodnick's, Greg, calm down, let it flow. Well, you know what? I'm not going to calm down. This major reconstruction is just starting. Maybe it is, maybe it ain't. But I got to tell you something. We're going to need an audit from Loserville City Books. NBM is in the house. Jose, perfect show timing. Just hit Atlanta I-285 traffic jam. Thanks for coming on in, Jose. Buckeye Greg is in the house. Daniel Dilly is in the house. Washington is still going to make the playoffs in 2026. I got a lot to say about that. I was going to come on late last night, but I decided to hold my fire. I mean, I put out some fire. I said some things on X, but I'm going to say the rest here in a live show. Demond Williams. Demond does Dawgs dirty. That is my opinion. Very strongly held opinion. Now, a lot of you, some of you, may disagree with me, and that's fine. Put down your comments. Your super chats supersede every other comment. And then the phone lines are going to be open later on. But Demond Williams did the Dawgs dirty in more than one way. And I'm going to call everybody out on it. And I don't care. You are a football player. You are a quarterback of a football team. You sign a contract, a Rev Share contract with the University of Washington, which is a Rev Share of 20 point something million. We don't know if it's 20.5 million, 21 and a half, whatever it is. You negotiate, you have an agent, you sign the contract, and then 4 or 5 days later, you make an announcement during a funeral, by the way, of a player, University of Washington soccer player who passed away. You make an announcement that you intend to go in the portal and you have a don't contact tag on you. I've got no respect for you. I've got no respect. If you are coming to this program today and you are expecting me to placate to the top 1 or 2% of the football players, the 1 or 2% of the super agents, the 1 or 2% of the boosters, the 1 or 2% of the football brands, if you're expecting me to placate to that, this ain't the show for you. He should not have signed the first offer. He should not have signed Washington's offer. I don't care if he got a better offer. If you sign the contract, you are playing for Washington. Period. Period. What is this? If you are an adult, and if you want to get paid like a professional football player, if you want to get paid like this, they should be getting paid. If you sign the contract, you got to stick with it. Let me give you guys an example. And it happened here. And it's been happening to all your programs. Jose, they thought PATC stood for placate all the college athletes. Look, I am very grateful that student athletes are finally getting paid. But there was this agreement, remember, with the let me get to the beautiful super chat here by Ryan Willie. I'm going to get into it here real quick, guys. $5 holla. No, my issue is not with the system architect. Nope. No. Eva Badger, college football is so bleeped up. Deja vu. Thank you for the $5 Holly Eva Badger. I very much appreciate it. Thank you so very much. I appreciate your incredible generosity, Mr. Badger. Thank you so very much. The architect, your issues with the system. No, it's not. Nope. The system is not perfect. The system is not what I would want it to be, but I have a problem with this player, with this agent, and with the teams that are going after him knowing he signed a Rev Share deal. There is no excuse for this. None. Sorry, I'm not going to play this game anymore. Oh, well, it's not really a contract. Oh, well, the players are not representative. BS. Absolutely, uncategorically BS. I'm not going to sit here and just lay down for the top 1 or 2% of these agents, 1 or 2% of the football players, 1 or 2% of the boosters. It's a joke. Follow the rules. Give me a list, PATC family members. Give me a list in the comments section. Give me the list of schools that are so special that they do not need to follow the rules. Give me a list. I'd like to see this list. Because 95% of the schools are doing all that they can to sign these players to a Rev Share contract, to go through this NIL Go system. Every single school that is represented in the PATC chat room, your school signed off on the deal. So don't be pushing the blame off on somebody else. Your school signed off on the CSC. Your school signed off on the Deloitte Clearinghouse. And do you know why they did all that? Because your school, my school, all of our schools, and the NCAA were screwed in that House versus NCAA versus the school case, class action. They had everybody under their thumb. So every school signed off on the deal. This is what was going to happen. A, B, C, D, E, and part of that was the Rev Share. Part of that was making sure you allocate, at least for the first year, with some sort of mathematical algorithm that I would never understand, $20.5 million to your student athletes in your athletic department if you wanted to go all the way up to 100% allocation. That's the rules. That's the rules. And then you sign the players to a Rev Share deal. Demond Williams signed a Rev Share deal with Washington. Do you know what that means? Does anybody know what that means? It means this. He negotiated with Washington. I don't know how much he got. Overall, it was $4 million. I don't know how much that was Rev Share. But let's just make it an even $1 million. It could be $2 million. It could be $3 million. Whatever. I don't know. Let's say it's $1 million. $1 million out of that $20.5 million or $21.5 million, whatever it's going to be next year. Let's say it's $20.5 million. Of the Rev Share money is going to Demond Williams. He signs the contract. Well, guess what? Just like every other Power 4 program out there, once the big dog, no pun intended, because Demond Williams ain't no big dog after this. Once you sign the contract, other players are signing their contracts. Have you noticed the run of players on your football program in which they make the announcement, he has signed on for another year, he has signed on for another year, he has signed on for another year? Your players are in negotiations with the athletic department, with the GM. So whatever money that Demond Williams was going to get, the other guys were not. Not just the football players, but other student athletes from other sports at the University of Washington. Demond Williams signed a Rev Share contract, a pretty big one, really good quarterback, but then everybody else, pretty much everybody else, is going to be taking a little bit less. What they're getting is affected by what Demond Williams is getting. So suddenly, after 4 or 5 days, Demond Williams says, well, no, that doesn't work for me, brother. Well, you just screwed. You just screwed the other football players because they could have made a little bit more if Washington's going to get a less expensive quarterback. Not to mention, Washington, rightly so, thought they had you signed, so they're not going to be looking for another quarterback. They're not going to be talking to other quarterbacks. This is rotten to the core. This is absolutely rotten to the core. You know who I blame on this? I'm not going to blame the system. We're always blaming the system. I blame Demond Williams. And if his agent, I don't know 100%. This agent, did Demond Williams do an end run around the agent? I don't know. But if this is the actions of the agents, I blame him. 100%. Sorry, these are the rules now. These are the rules. Until they change again, these are the rules. And whatever school is talking to Demond Williams, and there are some reports of some schools out there, and I'm going to try the best I can, not to level the heavy boom on them, but I will eventually. Whatever school is talking to Demond Williams, knowing that he signed a Rev Share agreement with Washington, shame on you, brother. Shame on you. That's terrible. That is absolutely ridiculous. So these contracts don't mean anything? All this work that all these schools and commissioners have done to settle that House settlement for $2.8 billion, you're going to throw it all down the drain because you want Demond Williams, a quarterback that just showed no class. You want him for 2 years. You're willing to throw everything down the drain for that? Come on. What are we talking about here? We're talking about a quarterback. A quarterback that you're going to have for 2 years. And you're going to knife Washington. You're going to knife the Rev Share deal while you're signing your players to Rev Share deals. And now those contracts are worthless? Oh, wait a second. It's just the Big Ten. It's just the Big Ten deals that are not any good. Is that it? That Big Ten template? Give me a break, guys. And then I got some people going, well, Greg. You know, Greg. All this would be settled if we just had a collective bargaining agreement, a CBA. Nah. No. No, it won't. No, it won't. CBA does nothing. Absolutely nothing. I am a big CBA proponent. I would love for there to be a CBA, but it ain't going to work. It ain't going to work because they're going to cheat. Some schools are going to cheat. They're not going to stop. A CBA does not stop cheating on its own. Not even close. The professional leagues that have a CBA, a collective bargaining agreement, look at their NIL deals. Take a look. Take a look at their NIL deals. They're nothing like the college NIL deals. Because in a CBA world, you are not allowed to give inducement payments to the professional players to go and do an end round around your cap that's in the CBA. The NIL deals in college sports, for the most part, like 95% of the most part, blows away the NBA NIL deals, blows away the NFL NIL deals, even though those athletes are so much more popular, so much well-known, because those deals are true NIL deals. These college NIL deals, and we got another report, the attempted circumvent of the Deloitte system, they're not real NIL deals. They're not. They're inducement payments to sign on your football program. And why would schools and conferences, why would they even agree to a CBA at this point? What's in it for them? If you're going to easily circumvent whatever you agree with the CBA because of some stupid righteous play that you're making, why would anybody agree with the CBA if you're going to circumvent it? Nilly-willy. Oh, we got a soft cap. We've got an apron at $23 million. We got a luxury tax, whatever in the CBA. Well, it doesn't matter because we're just going to play this player $4 million off this NIL deal, marketing, play it sports, whatever ridiculous thing that they going on in some NIL collective at some university that thinks they're so special. The CBA, this idea that a CBA is going to correct all the ills, that's, at this point, if you think that is true, you're not paying attention. The thirst of some programs to ultimately cheat cannot be quenched because they think they're special. They think the rules only apply to the 95% minions out there. You want players to get compensated. I want players to get compensated. Demond Williams is going to get compensated $4 million. And some of that is a Rev Share contract. That those negotiations affected the other players at Washington Huskies. And he balks after 5 days, and there are people supporting that crap. Are you serious? You go ahead and support that. You want to blame the system because it ain't perfect, it ain't how you want it to be, go ahead. But don't give me this righteous BS anymore about, oh, I got to be there to support the labor, the players, the blah, blah, blah. This does nothing of that. What this is, to support this action by Demond Williams, is exactly what the lawyers and the agents have been wanting. They've been pushing this narrative, and some of you are falling for it, hook, line, and sinker. They've been pushing for this. Nothing is good enough. Rev Share contract? Nah, it's null and void. That don't mean nothing. If you get a better offer, rip that up. Go to the other school. Screw the school that just made you that contract offer. It's all for the 1-2% of the top athletes. It's all for the 1-2% of the super agents. It's all for the 1 or 2% of the top boosters, and it's all for 1 or 2% of the top programs. That's the playground that they want to build. That's the playground that they are building. Look, you've seen those comments today on X, those agents. They don't even mention, they can't mention that Demond Williams signed a Rev Share contract. The NIL, it's a Rev Share part of the contract that Washington is fuming. Of course, Washington is going to, What do you expect Washington to do? Say, oh, this is fine? This is just fine? This is true damages Washington has incurred. Thinking they had a player under contract in the heat of portal season, and now he's going away after you've got him signed, where Washington hasn't been talking to other quarterbacks for 5 days. Andy Staples on 3. Whoops. When Washington quarterback Damon Williams dropped a transfer portal bomb into our Instagram feeds Tuesday evening, the first question was obvious. Didn't he just sign a new deal a few days ago? Yes, he did. The answer is yes. Washington sources quickly worked to confirm that Williams has signed an agreement with the school, a contract drafted with the help of the Big Ten. And if Williams intended to leave for another school, the school intended to enforce the terms of the deal. The conference, of course, would back the Huskies in this quest. Of course they would. We'll see how enthusiastic the Big Ten is about supporting Washington if Williams winds up in another Big Ten school. If Williams is headed to, say, LSU, expect the conference to come out with strongly worded letters blazing. If it's Oregon, expect the response to be far less public. If that's the case, shame on the Big Ten. Shame on the Big Ten if that's the case. I don't happen to think it's the case, though. Because I don't think it's what I've been told. I had 3 different conversations before 8 o'clock Central Time in the morning. And once again, people are absolutely outraged. DEFCON 1 continues on in the Big Ten. But let's say Williams chooses a school, and I'll get back to those conversations later. But let's say Williams chooses a school in a different conference. What happens next? What recourse does Washington and the Big Ten have? Washington may have a better chance than other schools in similar situations have to prove that Williams leaving did real damage. Here's why. If you follow these issues of the past, one name probably popped up in your head immediately, Xavier Lucas. Lucas, the former Wisconsin quarterback who sparked a lawsuit last year after he enrolled in Madison and enrolled at Miami. Notice I did not say he transferred. Wisconsin refused to put Lucas' name in the portal because school officials believed Miami had tampered with Lucas, who, like Williams, had signed a new deal before deciding to leave. In June, Wisconsin and its collective sued the University of Miami, but not Lucas. In Wisconsin state court claiming torturous interference, at the time the Big Ten announced its full support of Wisconsin in the lawsuit. That lawsuit may not end before Lucas, a sophomore, will play for Miami in Thursday college football playoff semifinal against Ole Miss, finishes his college career. According to Dane County records, the next scheduled event in the case is a telephone status conference on March 16th. My initial thought, again, Andy Staples at On 3, was the Lucas situation and the Williams situation were identical. A player signs a new deal, but decides to leave anyway. After discussing the matter with several smarter people, that doesn't seem to be the case. It's not even close to being the case. What could be the difference here is the aggrieved school's chance of convincing a court that it was actually damaged by the player leaving behind his deal. That might make it possible to enforce the liquidated damages clause in the deal. If you are following the coaching carousel, you know what liquidated damages caused already, but you probably just call it a buyout because that is what it is, a buyout. We don't know what the liquidated damages clause in Williams' contract would call for him to pay because we don't know yet any of the terms of the deal. But we do know the market for an accomplished quarterback in a power conference, and Williams qualifies as that. First full year at Washington starter, the sophomore completed 69.5% of his passes, threw for over 3,000 yards, 25 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Also ran for 611 yards. Washington went 9-4, 5-4 in Big Ten play. That makes Williams an extremely valuable player. Veteran quarterbacks with similar numbers are commanding at least $3 million annually in this market. Schools have tried to enforce these clauses over the past few years with varying degrees of success because it isn't as simple as writing a buyout number on a contract. In most states, including Washington, players could argue that the figure constitutes a penalty rather than a reasonable amount due to make the aggrieved party whole for actual damage caused by the player leaving. And then it gives up more examples. Washington might have a valid argument at this point. I want to skip to this. It will be severely damaged by Williams' departure. The only quarterback currently in the portal with a similar resume is former Arizona quarterback Sam Leavitt, who is scheduled to visit Tennessee on Wednesday. Plus, Washington's coaching staff hadn't prepared to find a new starting quarterback because coaches thought they had a deal in place with Williams. Washington almost certainly would argue that it intended to follow the rules and wouldn't tamper with quarterbacks not in the portal, which may be the only way at this point to find a suitable replacement for Williams. Had Williams, this is the PATC money shot of the article, had Williams not made the deal and simply decided to enter the portal, Washington would have no argument at all. Had he done exactly what he did, but 4 days earlier, Washington's argument might have lost steam. It would have lost steam. Again, the title of the show is Desmond Does Dawgs Dirty. Absolutely did them dirty on this. Absolutely done them dirty. There's not many options for Washington in the portal. They thought they had their guy. He signed a contract. It was negotiated. And now he's just going to end up and go. And somewhere, some school out there is going to have Demond Williams as their starting quarterback. Some school, remember, Demond Williams said there is a do not contact tag as he enters the portal. It is completely getting out of hand. MBM Super Chat, Mr. Cowboy. CSC needs to hire Nick Shirley to root out the tampering. Thank you for the $5 MBM. I appreciate it so very much. A lot of excitement in Stillwater. A lot of excitement in Stillwater. North Texas quarterback, running back, Caleb Hawkins, Mr. Micah. Wow. A lot of excitement in Stillwater. Thank you, MBM. I appreciate the $5 holler. 5 days is better than 5 weeks. How many signees miss out? Can't be many. 5 days is worse than 5 weeks. If Demond Williams would have said a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, he was planning to enter the portal, Washington would have been able to line up visits and everything. But it's not even that. He signed a contract. He signed a contract. So now contracts don't mean... Now Rev Share contracts don't mean anything. Really. Really. It's like, I don't know what else to say. I think a lot of you, I'm sorry to be so honest here, but there's too many fans. There are too many institutions. There are too many boosters and college football leaders that get off on doing stuff that the other schools are not doing. 95% of the schools are not contacting an agent representing a player that has signed their Rev Share. You know that, right? This ain't happening all over the place. But when it happens, suddenly, well, no, it's the system fault. Well, the players should have all the power. The agents should have all the power. Blah, 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 blah. It's the same thing over and over again. How about this? How about you don't cheat? How about you don't cheat? How about you don't cheat? How about you just follow the rules like everybody else is? Instead of trying to mentally gymnastic your way into an argument that somehow makes it so whoever is contacting this guy, make it so they're innocent. Now, I don't know if it's LSU. I don't know if it's Miami. I don't know if it's Oregon. I don't know if it's Minnesota, for God's sakes. But whoever ends up with Demon Williams, I'm going to tell you something. Karma is a bitch. Because if everybody did this sort of stuff, we would not even sustain ourselves for 1 year. And also this. Why are you doing it? Like, all of this was part of a House settlement deal. Every school in the Big Ten signed on the dotted line for this deal. Every school in the SEC signed on the dotted line for this school. Every school in the Big 12, every school in the ACC. The CSC, the Deloitte system, the Rev Share, the math on it, the judge in the House settlement, in the lawyers, they made that it was a big negotiations among everybody, and this is what we ended up. And if we do not follow the design of this, then the House lawyer and the judge can rip up the settlement. And if they rip up the settlement, the $2.8 billion in back pay could go all the way up to $20 billion. We have no idea. They have already threatened that. So we're screwing around. We're not now suddenly Rev Share contracts don't matter now to some schools. To some special schools, because they're special, they don't have to abide by Rev Share contracts. I will say this. And I mean this honestly. I'll get to it in a second. I will get to it in a second. Ryan Thomas, thank you for the super chat. Ryan Thomas, BYU Cougar. College football is in big trouble, brother. Oh. Yeah, I mean, we can't even set up one rule that everybody can follow. And you would think it was the Rev Share rule. Because the number is there. All the Rev Share deals are going to be reported. The players sign. That means they have signed for a year. And suddenly now that is blown up because Somebody really wants Demond Williams and they offered him more money. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it very much, Ryan Thomas. We got Ricky Tungate, 5 gifted memberships. We're gonna be making our picks against the spread here real quick, and I still don't know what I'm gonna do with Indiana and Oregon. Still have no idea. Daniel Gorby, The New Life, Go Blue, Mick Stevens, TCU, Go Huskies. All of you been gifted a membership by the great, generous Ricky Tungate, Mr. Hoosier. When you get an opportunity, please say thank you to Ricky for his incredible generosity. All of you, and I mean all of you are knighted cloak and dagger. Cloak and dagger. Pick opposite of the initial reaction. And here is something that I said, and I'm not going to take it back. For those who are longtime listeners of this program, and there's not many of you left, because I tend to get everybody upset with me. This is a national college football YouTube channel. I try to cover everything nationally. I cover all the schools. We break down all the schools. I mean, this is not a Big Ten channel. I've gone after the Big Ten. Sometimes maybe I cuddle up to the Big Ten too much. I have biases. I'm human. I apologize. But this is a national college football YouTube channel. I have used my microphone, and I'm an absolute nobody, but I've tried to push the Army of 24. I have fought against this breakaway. I think it's the worst idea out there, other than, well, there are worse ideas out there. I don't want us to break apart. I think football would be devalued if that happened. But I did say this earlier today, and I meant it. I've been 100% against a Big Ten breakaway for all these years. It's down to 80% and dropping. Again, I'm still against the Big Ten breakaway, but I'm getting more and more like, I mean, what's the point? Now, I don't know if Minnesota's going to be included in the Big Ten breakaway. If they break away, they might not take Minnesota. So I'll be calling Brett Yormark or Phillips. But I look. What are you going to do? You're going to go after every Big Ten player that has a contract, a Rev Share contract? Again, the Big Ten is like, what the hell's going on here? I said to you earlier, I talked to 3 people before 8 o'clock in the morning. And one was chatted behind the curtain, and 2 other people were Big Ten people. And the Big Ten is like, this is crazy. Like, this is ridiculous. This is, again, there are schools out there that are not treating anything like they're not going to go by the rules. It's not in them. They don't have the leadership. Their boosters insist that they cheat. There's no internal guardrails at some of these institutions. You know, when you join a conference, if you are an ACC school and you are part of the ACC conference, there's a bunch of rules that you have to follow year in and year out. You follow it. You're part of an association. There's no CBA, but you follow the damn rules because you are part of the association. Same thing with the Big Ten. Same thing with the SEC. Same thing with the Big 12. So an association of how many schools? 70? They set these rules, and then there's some that just cannot abide. They just can't do it. I have told you guys. I have reported to you guys. AMAC says the SEC has never followed the rules. Okay, true. A lot of schools haven't. But I reported to you. The door was open to us. We got some information. I reported to you during those advisory meetings between the Big Ten and the SEC. The Big Ten thought they had a deal with the Southeastern Conference on the college football playoff format because the Big Ten agreed to back up the Southeastern Conference on these new rules. Like, these have got to be established rules. We all got to follow them. And there are some schools that have no interest in it. And I'll say this. I don't know who is trying to get Demon Williams. There are some reports. Look, first of all, let me go through, let me get to the very generous Evo Badger super chat here. We'll go through a couple more reports. We are going to get to the semifinal games here in a moment. But this all has to be said, in my opinion. Super chat. Evo Badger, Ryan Willie. There's a pic of Levitt, Sam Levitt, sitting courtside with Kiffin. Levitt was looking at his phone and Kiffin was looking at Levitt. I'm pretty certain that Levitt is not going to LSU. I seen that picture. But do we know what Levitt was looking at? Do we know what Sam Levitt was looking at? Was he looking at the report of Demon Williams and possibly LSU being one of the schools, if not this school? And if that is the case, I don't know if it is. But if Sam Levitt is sitting there to link, I don't want to go down that road because I don't know. I don't want to. There's enough here that I don't want to spend too much time. If all this happened, if Demon Williams got the go ahead and from LSU and said, you're our guy, while Sam Levitt is with Lane Kiffin, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Look, thank you for the $10 holler, Eva Badger. Thank you so very much for your incredible generosity. I really do appreciate it. Ricky Tungate, I very much appreciate it. Let me get to let me back up here. Let me back up. Time out. Let me back up. You know, and look, I'm sorry to say this, but a lot of people, a lot of YouTube channels, college football, they're just going to make light of all this. You know, because it's, you know, here is Aaron Torres. The reason Demon Williams entered the portal days after signing a deal with Washington is because there's never been a consequence for players to do whatever they want. Washington is drawing the line. If you hate the Wild West world of college sports, You should be supporting Washington. And I am. I hope they hold the line on this. Ross Dellinger, let's go through the reports. Washington officials suspect that Williams has already held conversations with other programs, and the school plans to submit any tampering evidence to the league and NCAA. LSU is believed to be the school most interested in Williams. Now again, it really hasn't been confirmed, but if this is accurate, Lane Kiffin and LSU, you've got a lot of chutzpah, man. Williams is a signed player for Washington. So why are you going after Demond Williams? Washington officials are expected to communicate later today with Demond Williams representatives regarding the situations and the next steps. With Washington refusing to enter Williams' name in the portal, he is not permitted to hold conversations with other programs. Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti in Seattle for the memorial service is heavily involved in the matter, along with other Big Ten officials. The league is standing behind Washington's fervent approach to the contract. Of course. Any other conference would do the same thing, but you know what? It's been happening to the Big Ten Conference, hasn't it? An update thread on Demond Williams' situation with Washington per sources. Williams signed a 1-year Rev Share agreement with Washington worth more than $4 million. The agreement is a Big Ten template document used by all league members and built for situations like this. And guess what? ACC, you've got the same contracts. SEC, you've got the same contracts. 95% of your template, whatever you're using, same information, same contract. So, again, is it LSU? I do not have that confirmed. Washington believes it's LSU, but I want to see the next wave of reports on this. Is there other programs? And what about the agent? The agent has his players sign a deal, and now his player is going to get out of the deal. He's going to play some. Why would any school want to deal with that agent ever again? Why would any Big Ten school want to deal with that agent ever again? If you are not worth, if your ethical standards are so low, why are anybody working with you? This is not a perfect system that we have, but I tell you what, it's 1,000 times better than a system that, again, the top 2% of the agents want to create for the top 2% of the athletes in creation with the top 2% of the boosters with the top 2% of the athletic departments. The system that we have now is a whole lot better than the garbage that I just read off. And that is what they're trying to build. Every day, these agents and the lawyers that cover for the agents, every day they talk about this on X. And if anybody pushes back on them, they make it look like, well, you don't want players to be compensated. You don't want players to be representative. And of course, all that is BS. But that's the game they play, because all they want All they want is the top 2% of the athletes to scoop up the majority of the money because their cut would be huge. They only want to deal with a handful of teams, a handful of boosters for a handful of players, just like Major League Baseball. We finally got a rule in place of Rev Share, and the players are signing contracts, and they're being compensated at the highest level ever, and it still ain't enough. It's never gonna be enough. And there's schools out there that don't give a damn. And if you are a school that thinks you have a shot to get to the Big Ten and you pull this crap, well, that is the dumbest thing you could ever possibly do. Scott Grable, Alabama, if you guys think that the SEC tampers, you're delusional. Big Ten has been accused many times also. Okay, and I had this discussion with other people. What do we look when we're talking tampering? What exactly are we talking about? What exactly are we talking about? Tampering in which a player is committed to a team? Yes, everybody is trying to get that player to flip. Are we talking about tampering when it comes to a guy commits to a team out of the portal but hasn't signed the dotted line, like Minchie, right? Minchie of Notre Dame, the quarterback. Out of the portal, he commits to Nebraska. A day later, he flips. He's not going to Nebraska anymore. He's going to Kentucky. But Minchie did not sign a contract with Nebraska. He had yet to sign a contract. So when you're talking about tampering, what level this tampering is at the very highest. This tampering is a guy signed a contract that had major effect on the other players on his team and other student athletes who play other sports at his university. Demon did the Dawgs dirty. He did his own teammates dirty. I don't know how much more clear I could possibly be. This is a whole different level. Whole different level. What other player has signed a Rev Share agreement and then wants to go back in the portal? There is no other player. None that we know of. It hasn't been reported. Yes, they've been tampered. Yes, Steve McNeely. So whenever a player enters a portal with a do not contact stipulation, does that mean they've been tampered? Not necessarily, but a lot of them have been. Look, the agents are talking with the teams. We know all this is happening. Sometimes that do not contact is because they've already got a couple teams in mind and they're only going to talk with those teams. They don't want to talk with anybody else. Or they're planning on going home to a school. They've already got things planned out. But yes, that's tampering. But we're talking about tampering in which a player has signed a contract, a 1-year contract, a binding contract. And teams are still going after these guys. Well, what's the point of anything then? There's a big difference in that. It's like an NFL player. an NFL player signs a contract, you're not gonna be able to get that player. So why in college are you? Why? Look, Demon Williams should not be playing with anybody except for Washington next year. He wasn't forced to sign the contract. Who made him sign that contract? Who made him sign that contract? So what are we doing? Wait a second. Are you telling me, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to the point where a player is going to be the starting quarterback of Iowa for the first 3 weeks of the season, and then he's going to get a big old offer from Michigan, and then he's going to play for Michigan in week 4? Why can't that happen? I mean, if contracts don't matter, if rules don't matter, is that what we want in college football? Guys flipping every week? Now, you might think, Greg, that's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said. Well, it's not ridiculous anymore. None of these things matter anymore. No rules, remember? No rules, nothing, no CBA, so there's no rules, la-da-da-da-da. Exactly where is the line? No, this is different. This is a whole nother level up. Demon Williams screwed his football team, screwed his other players on his team, screwed other student athletes in the athletic department, and some school out there is going to be the beneficiary of that because they went after a guy that signed a contract. And I'm sorry, whatever school gets Demon Williams, the fat guy from Minnesota, is going to be doing Greg the Gold picks every single week, and I'm going to be betting against your team because karma is an absolute biatch. And then you got that. Announcing your departure during a celebration of life. Yeah, I look, sorry guys. This is about as bad as it gets. This is about as unclassy, undignified, low, pathetic. I don't want him as my quarterback. I don't care how good he is. I don't want him anywhere near putting on a maroon and gold uniform. You screwed your team. You screwed your football team and your fellow players on that team. If you want to leave Washington, just say, I want to leave Washington. But you signed a contract and now you're not man enough to live up for your contract. And no, I don't want to. I'm not going to sit here, go on a soapbox but the player's rights and blah, blah, blah. No. That's all crap. This ain't about the player's rights. This is about the agents filling their pockets, getting a couple more $1 million, screwing the system any chance they get, and having their team of lawyers screw with this sport that we love. So I'm not going to. My patience on this holier than thou, we got to do what's best for the players. Demon Williams did not do it best for the players. He screwed the Washington football players. I got that message at 7:38 this morning. He screwed his fellow players. So yeah. Greg, the coach shouldn't be rewarded. Okay, maybe I pick on them every week. Maybe I pick them on them every week. Greg, has any gopher that entered the portal found a new team yet? Boy, that's a great question. Fame Ibijwa, whatever his last name is. Fame, our running back 2, visited Purdue today. Maybe he'll be at Purdue. Corey Perch, I don't know where he's going to end up. I have no problem looking in the mirror. Because this is, so far, this is a one-off situation. Hey, Matt, Greg, wouldn't you be rooting for his team if you want to hurt? I got it. Don't bet against their team, Greg. You'll be rewarding bad behavior. Got it. All right. Here we go, guys. What do you want to do here? How do you want to do this? I do not care. I'm going to leave it up to you guys because these games are way above my pay level. I have no idea what I'm doing. Do you guys want to go first or do you want me to go first? Why don't I go first? Let's just rip this. Let's just do it here. I'm going to go first, if that's okay. Okay, Steven Vitz says you go first, Greg. All right, my record is 91 and 92. You guys are 90 and 93. I got a 1-game lead. We've got 3 games left. Ole Miss, Miami. God, I have no idea what I'm going to do. Hold on one second here. Hold on, everybody. I just want to check out injury. Hold on. By the way, we are going to be doing a watch party. We're going to be doing a watch party on both these semifinal games. Thursday night, tomorrow night, and Friday night. So come join us for the watch parties. It's going to be a lot of fun. Normally, I have an angle. I have a theory. I have something that I'm just going to go with. And I don't have it. I do not have it. I always go with defense. I bet against Miami twice. I won't do it 3 times. Ole Miss has the stronger cheerleaders. Now you guys are really helping me here. Really good analyst. I'm afraid of the Ole Miss. I'm afraid of the Ole Miss backdoor cover. The architect says the Miami's defensive line is frightening. Yes. Yeah, they're frightening. Troy says the team with the most points will win. Well, this is ridiculous. I'm Greg the Gold, for God's sakes. I should be strong with my picks. I should give you guys, I should at least fake it. And I can't do it. I don't know what to do. What if you guys make this pick for me? Yeah, Scott Grable. That's what I'm thinking. That Ole Miss quarterback, man. Oh, gosh. Okay. I'm going to flip a coin. I'm going to listen to Troy, Buckeye Troy. Okay, heads, Miami. Tails, Ole Miss. I don't know what that is. I guess that's a tail. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a head. That the other side is a head. Tails, Ole Miss. I got Ole Miss. Ole Miss plus 3.5. A lock. Oregon, Indiana. Oregon, Indiana. I got no clue. Heads, Oregon. Tails, Indiana. And we got tails again. Tails again. Indiana. So I got Indiana and Ole Miss. Absolute locks. Absolute locks. Now that is embarrassing. What I just did was absolutely embarrassing, but I really got no clue. And I am fascinated to see what you guys do here. I got Ole Miss and Indiana. I think Oregon can cover. I think Miami has a chance to. Man. All right, well, it's a done deal. Let's go, guys. Let's go. Show the way, guys. Show the way. First game, Miami, Ole Miss. Does Miami cover the minus 3.5 point spread versus Ole Miss? If you vote yes, that means you're taking the Hurricanes and you're willing to give 3.5 points. If you vote no, you're taking the Ole Miss Rebels and you're going to receive 3.5 points. The voting begins now. I have no idea what's going to happen. AMAC, Greg the Cooler, has run out of steam at the end of the year. These games are just way too difficult. I got no angles on them. No angles. This game here, Chambliss is playing he's playing at such an elite level. And Lacey and oh my gosh, and Perkins. And I know they don't have an elite defense, Ole Miss, but Miami is going to have to, Ole Miss ain't going to quit. Ole Miss ain't going to quit. Can your pick be tampered with? Ryan Brooks. Yeah, Jose says Ole Miss back cover. George Holton, I'm betting overall under on both. Not taking the spreads. Interesting. Very interesting. AMAC says Chambliss cannot repeat the last performance. Well, you're probably right. You're probably right. But I'm getting all whipped up in this, All right, 5 more seconds on the vote. We got a landslide here. We got a landslide. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 74% of the vote says yes. Miami. The PATC community goes completely against the fat guy with the coin. I got Ole Miss. You guys got Miami Hurricanes. Wow. Woo! Okay. Whoops. Oregon, Indiana. Does Indiana cover the minus 4.5 point spread versus the Oregon Ducks. If you vote yes, you're taking the Hoosiers and you're willing to give 4.5. If you vote no, you're taking the Ducks and you are receiving 4.5 points. The voting begins now. Sam Levitt visited Tennessee, I believe today, correct? Correct? 5 more seconds on the vote. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 66% says yes. So you all got the Indiana Hoosiers. Wow. Indiana is the pick. So, I got Indiana. You all got Indiana. I got Ole Miss. You all got Miami. Those are our semifinal picks. I'm 91 and 92. You guys are 90 and 93. Good luck, everybody. Good luck. I flipped a quarter for my 2 games, and I have no idea what's going to happen. But we are going to be doing a watch party on both games, so come join us tomorrow night and Friday night. We got 1 defensive tackle in the portal, and they need a couple of more, right? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. We're going to be outstanding on the defensive ends, rush end. But in the interior, we're going to have a little bit of issues, I think. But yeah. We did get that Tennessee volunteer offensive lineman, though, with 3 years of eligibility. I think he might be able to play. So pretty good on that. All right, we are going to open up the phone lines. Let the angry masses have their word. The phone number is 763-260-1333. 763.
Call from
Rick.
Rick is on the line. Thanks for calling, Rick. I very much appreciate it. The floor is yours.
Let's see if I can help a little bit with this situation. I think what we've got is Desmond recently got married to a Husky girl.
What?
And
really?
And after a few days, has decided to file for divorce.
Oh, okay.
You with me?
Yeah.
So the Husky girl is suing him for damages. One would hope, right?
Yes.
After 4 days of marriage, one would hope the Husky girl would sue him for damages. She certainly doesn't want him back. And that floozy from Baton Rouge, who works the weekends in the French Quarter,
yeah,
she's been calling him. And I think the Husky girl knows about that Baton Rouge floozy. And she might be suing her also for damages for squealing Desmond away. So what we have here is a civil divorce case, nothing more. Happens all the time.
Well, I don't want to say that because this is, as far as we know, this is the real first one that's happened this way, where we're talking about a Rev Share contract. I understand what you're talking about, divorces 4 days into the marriage and all that. I hope, using your analogy, I hope and I pray. Now, who cheated on who? Is it the groom or the groom cheated on the bride?
I think the husky girl's a victim.
Okay. All right. So I hope the husky girl.
Desmond has been text messaging the Baton Rouge girl during the marriage.
I hope that the husky lady, who was married for 4 years,
4 days,
4 days, excuse me, 4 days, comes out in public and goes after in public that floozy in whatever state that floozy is in, and says, basically says that floozy is a
floozy.
A floozy.
That floozy. Yeah, floozy.
I hope that happens. I hope Jed Fish completely rips on whoever is doing this. And
the same way that Badger girl did it.
Yeah. This is a little bit different, though. This is worse.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But was the Badger girl married? Or just a boyfriend?
Well, it was the marriage license.
Were they legally married, or was he a boyfriend?
Well, we don't know. That's in dispute. But because we don't know if the marriage license was valid. In this case, the marriage license is definitely valid. There is no dispute on that.
Why doesn't the Badger girl come out and tell us whether or not she was married or just messing around?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting kind of lost. But yes, I understand your point.
But this has happened before. And it's going to happen again.
But it hasn't. Okay, I know people keep saying this has happened before, but not really. This is not a commitment. This is not an NIL deal. This is a Rev Share contract that has been signed, and that player wants out of it 5 days after. That's different than the Xavier Lucas situation, in which Rev Share really had not become official yet. That was like June 1st of last summer, and Lucas had signed an MOU with so there is no
precedent.
This really is no precedent. This is a new level up of trying to just shoot down anything that gets created, anything that gets like. I said it to Wild Youth. Hold on a second. I'm going to repeat what I said to Wild Youth. Wild Youth said something, and I said this. It's like people are determined to undermine any undertaking of rules and guardrails to placate the top 1% to 2% football players, 1% to 2% of super agents, and 1% to 2% of mega boosters. It's gross. It seems like we're never going to have a system in place that's going to satisfy the 1% or 2% of the players, 1% or 2% of the super agents and the boosters, because if they can rip up any deal, then we're just spinning our wheels here.
He violated the marriage with the husky lady, and he's got himself one heck of an attorney.
Yeah.
But if the husky lady doesn't take action, to get damages,
Yeah.
then this is just going to happen again.
Yeah, but you know the Husky ladies got Tony the priest looking into this as well. So
That's a good thing,
yeah,
but he wasn't the victim.
kind of.
Because if he was a victim, he could sue him too.
He's kind of a victim. He's
No, if he's
his
a victim, he
church.
could sue him
His
too.
church was I don't know where to go with this. Thank you, Rick. I appreciate it, sir.
Okie doke.
Got it. Thank you. All right, Rod Nix, give me a call. Calming down. I do not know what Florida State's doing with the quarterback position. Give me a call, Rod Nix. Ashton Daniels.
Call
Go ahead, Ryan Willie. The floor is yours.
Hey, Greg, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
I had to make a comment or two about what Rick just said.
Yeah.
First of all, I know it's not completely like the Xavier Lucas thing, but it at some point they're going to have to figure out what constitutes a contract and what's legally binding. Because this is a bunch of BS. And I wonder now there are some people are saying that DeMond Williams is going to basically do what Xavier Lucas did, unenrolling at Washington and re-enrolling at LSU if he goes there. But, you know, basically, DeMond Williams can get an annulment from Washington. Just get an annulment. Based on what? Hello?
Yeah, but what does Washington get out of this? I mean, the ability for Washington to get a replacement quarterback is now incredibly difficult, and no fault of their own, because they thought they did have a deal signed with Williams.
That's why I said something's got to be able to figure out what constitutes a contract.
Well, that is a contract. It is a contract. It's a contract.
I believe it is too, Greg. But the way things are going now, nothing is a legally binding contract. The way things are going now.
Well, but 99% of the schools in these Rev Share contracts are being conducted like they're binding contracts. For example, Wisconsin, Colton Joseph, you guys signed a Rev Share deal, right, with them?
Right.
Whatever money that's in that contract, Wisconsin has to pay Colton Joseph that money. It's a signed Rev Share contract. Whatever the words in that contract is. It might say that Colton Joseph, if you throw over 3,000 yards, you might make another $50,000. I don't know. Whatever the words in that contract, Wisconsin has to own up to their side of the bargain, and they've got to pay that contract. The player signed the same damn contract. It's a contract. All these we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of contracts, and suddenly DeMond Williams' contract doesn't matter. Why? Why doesn't it matter? Because he's a
believe me, Greg,
I know you agree with me. I know you agree with me. Just this, I'm on a roll here. I know you agree with me, sir. Why doesn't this contract why isn't this contract really a contract? Because Demond Williams is a special player, because he's got a special agent, because he might be going to a special school. So therefore, the rules do not apply in this case. That is the Ryan Willie, as upset as you were about the Lucas situation, I can guarantee you the Big Ten is absolutely fuming at this situation with Washington. There's a lot of angry people.
But I think it's going to keep continuing, and I don't want it to.
Yep.
I hate it.
Yep.
I absolutely hate it.
Yep.
Well, that's all I had, Greg.
You got it, but hey, I appreciate the phone call, my man.
All right. Thanks for taking my call.
Beautiful. We've got breaking news. We got a lot of breaking news.
Call from
Ryan Brooks.
Ryan Brooks, can you hold on for just 1 second, please?
Absolutely.
I appreciate it. We got breaking news. Pete Thamel, Michigan sophomore tailback Jordan Marshall has agreed to a new deal to return to the Wolverines. He tells ESPN he had 932 yards, 10 touchdowns last year at Michigan. Another key retention piece for year one of the Kyle Whittingham era. So Jordan Marshall has signed on to a new deal with Michigan. Ryan Brooks, thanks for calling, sir. I very much appreciate it. The floor is yours.
So I hope you're doing well this new year. First, I wanted to say you missed a great opportunity for a watch party on that Montana State game.
Yes, I
Probably
did.
the best game in a long time.
Yeah. I've missed a lot of opportunities. In fact, I had a doctor's appointment today, and my foot is in a boot. I heard on December 22nd. So I've been dealing with an injury that has taken me out of action for a little bit. But I think
that boot's not in support of LSU?
No, it's in fact, I don't know if the boot's really going to help me. But anyways, but yeah, I that was a great football game. Congratulations to Montana State for a thrilling 1-point victory. Thanks for reminding us, sir.
Here's my question, or my thought is, we'll make sure everyone knows that there's a lot of talking like there's a fact. It is in fact Lane Kiffin. It is in fact LSU. We still don't know that for sure, so that still there's an allegedly out there with it.
Yeah.
What makes me wonder though is the 11th visit was going well, multiple days, multiple players, courtside, and in the middle of that he decides to tamper, potentially, allegedly. And of all the people he tampers with, this guy, why not go after the Texas Tech quarterback or some of the other higher ones? And what makes them want to go after this guy in a tampering situation? It seems like there's other people. If you're going to tamper, there's potentially better people to tamper with.
Great question. I don't know the answer. I mean, Demond Williams, his gameplay is a lot like Trinidad Chambliss. I mean, Demond Williams can get away from a 3-man rush, like open rush, like he can make plays like Chambliss can. Maybe I don't know. Maybe, but I have no idea. And again, I have my own personal belief. I think Sam Levitt is the number one quarterback in the portal. I think he's better than Brendan Sorsby, and he's not even taken yet. So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe he is going to end up at LSU. I have no idea.
I hope so, because I don't think Washington's going to let him out to go anywhere.
Well, if I was Washington, I wouldn't. I think people are, but that's just my, again, they're going to get a lot of negative. No matter what they do, Washington's in a pickle. No matter what they do, it's going to be wrong. I would not let him out because he signed the damn contract. These guys have got to learn. Don't sign the contract if you don't want to play for that team. For every moment we are getting deals. Jordan Marshall just signed a deal with Michigan for a year. That's a deal. He's going to be there for another year. It's like, come on. It's, I don't know. Go ahead, sir.
Is it a 1 year deal or 2 year deal? How much time does he have?
Most of these deals are 1 year deals. Almost all of them are 1 year deals.
So yes, make him sit out a year. Absolutely on that. Here's what I don't like though. Back in the old days, you know what tampering was. There's a good definition for tampering.
Yeah.
Coach X, player Y, and they talk. Well, nowadays, not defending Williams, but his agent could have made contact with the coach.
I'm sure he did.
Is that tampering by the coach? Is the coach going to say, well, gee, I should say no on principle, knowing your rival is going to pick him up and answer the phone? We don't know. We don't know in this case. Was it coaches calling agents, coaches calling players, agent calling coaches, player calling coaches? We really don't know right now. And what's a real definition of tampering in this new world we live in?
Well, I would agree with you that we do not know. Well, first of all, I don't agree with all that because, first of all, we do know, everybody knows, that Demond Williams signed a new deal with Washington. It was publicly announced. Williams announced it. It was a done deal. So the agent knows that Demond Williams signed the deal. Now, I'm not even completely ready to rip on the agent because maybe Demond Williams did an end run around the agent, right? Like maybe Demond Williams said, you know what, I'm going in the portal. In his whole announcement, his agent did not know. I don't know. I'm just throwing possibilities out there. I do not. If it is LSU, and again, you haven't heard me rip on LSU too much today because that really hasn't been confirmed I'm not comfortable enough to go after LSU or anybody else yet. But LSU knows that Demond Williams signed that deal. So if Lane Kiffin is talking to his agent, he should not about Demond Williams. He should not be talking about his agent about Demond Williams. That is a whole new level of tampering, and we just cannot have that happen. We can't have that happen because we can't have this house settlement fall apart. Because if that happens, then we're all doomed, including Lane Kiffin.
So kind of switching it a little bit though. Here is Washington can force this guy to stay or not transfer. If they do that and make him sit there, is there language that says they don't have to pay him either, or will they just have to pay him all that money to sit up in Seattle and go to school? Do we know?
I don't know. Great question. I don't know what the contract says. Yep. I don't know.
It is, and I'm not pushing back defending Lane because no, he shouldn't be talking because everyone knows that. But that also being said, it's hard to fault a coach knowing that other coaches may also do this, and so you jump out in front of him.
I can't agree with that. Don't do it. Look, it isn't like 95. No, it. I know I might sound like a naive schmuck here, but 95% of these coaches are not going after guys who have signed Rev Share agreements. They're just not doing it. They're not doing it. We're not hearing about it. It's not being reported. Guys are not leaving after they sign the Rev Share. Everybody understands that contract. You're there for a year. So He might be afraid
Oh,
that other coaches are doing it. Maybe LSU hasn't found their quarterback yet. But Demon Williams is a Washington Husky for another year, in which every P4 school recognized that to be the case when they signed off on the House settlement deal that had this integral part of the settlement. Rev Share, cap, players contract, we're all in agreement on this. Suddenly, maybe some schools are like, nah, we'll just go after guys with Rev Share agreements.
So first, I agree that the House settlement needs to be protected. And I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not agreeing that he shouldn't be talking. I'm just saying that, boy, it takes a lot to not talk knowing your rival might talk and then let the bad guy be somebody else. But that doesn't make it right either.
Yeah. Yep.
That's kind of where I was going with it. But again, it seems like Lane Kiffin has already been publicly convicted in the court, in the public opinion.
Yeah.
It's funny because no one's going after Iowa State's quarterback or even DeBoer to Alabama. But man, or Tulane or North Texas coach, everyone hates on Lane Kiffin for moving over. And somehow it is LSU's fault for him coming too. That's kind of weird when nobody else is being blamed.
Mm-hmm. All righty, sir.
All right.
Ryan
Thanks.
Brooks,
Take care.
beautiful call, my man. I appreciate you calling.
All right.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Brooks is correct. I don't know if it is I don't know. Like, we got a couple of reports. That whole part of it is not confirmed yet. So I've been trying to lay off on convicting anybody at this point.
Call from
Fred?
Fred is on the line. The floor is yours. Go ahead, sir.
Hey, Greg. I was watching an LSU podcast this morning, and the guy made it a point to say, well, Lane Kiffin has been recruiting this guy out of high school, and then when he went to Washington, he was trying to recruit him to get to come to him then.
Yeah.
And so it's very, possible that Lane hasn't given up. And I think it is a Lane Kiffin thing, probably. What Lane Kiffin wants, he doesn't have any lines in terms of getting it.
Yeah.
You remember when he went to Tennessee and how long he stayed there?
Yeah.
1 year.
Yeah. Well,
and he's got Mississippi now going into the playoffs, and what does he do? He thinks of Lane Kiffin first. I want to go to LSU, and so I'm going to. I think it's just one of those things.
If this is a Lane Kiffin deal, if it is him going after a known quarterback that has signed a contract, then LSU has to stop him from doing it. I mean, at some point, because LSU has guys signed on Rev Share deals, they think those deals are binding, right? So somebody's got to, somebody institutionally at these schools have got to stop this crap from happening. Again, I don't know if it did happen with LSU, but somebody's got to step up and stop it.
It's interesting you mentioned that, because the guy on the podcast said he didn't view it as an ethical thing. It was just a matter of they're going to be supportive of Lane Kiffin, and if at some point somebody says you got to compensate the other school with money, whatever they have to write the check for, they will.
Okay, that's how. I mean, and that's why we're in so much trouble, because if the Rev Share, if this thing collapses, who's going to be paying LSU's portion of the $20 billion of back pay? Like, literally, people are risking billions of dollars over a quarterback that's going to be playing for a university for 2 years. It is truly dumb. It is stupid to do this. And people like we got a comment here. The part of the House settlement with the clearinghouse is totally built on legal foundation of sand. Maybe it is. At this moment, the clearinghouse has zero enforcement ability. Well, again, we all agreed to the clearinghouse. We all agree to the rules. We all agree to these guardrails. Legally, it might not stand up, but that doesn't mean that legally it might not stand up. Therefore, my school is going to break the rules while 95% of the schools don't. It's this type of thinking. It's like, how about this? Follow the rules. What is so different? Why is that why is that so controversial? Most people are. Follow the rules until that it's broken in the courts or something else. Just follow the rules. And if you don't follow the rules, you should be slammed. Why is that so different? In any other sport, but in college football, it's like, oh, we didn't follow the rules. Oh, we want it more. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Slap that guy in the back. It's the evil underbelly of the sport that we love is that cheating, going against the rules because the rules aren't what they should be. It's all glamorized and whatever. And look, Washington, for no fault of their own, is getting damaged in this because they're not going to be able to get a quarterback. They're not going to have an opportunity to get a quarterback from Devin Williams quality because they're just not going to have the chance. They thought they had the guy locked up, and now this happened. I'm sorry to interfere with your call. Go ahead, sir.
No, I was thinking what you said a little while ago. You know, the question we have is, can college football put any rule out there that's going to stand?
I don't think so. And I think that's a plight on the game that we love. We all, if it's a CBA, Greg, everything's going to work, everything's going to be perfect. But no, schools are going to cheat. Schools are going to cheat because some schools are going to cheat. It's in their DNA, and I'm going to call them out because why not?
Yeah, I don't know where this is going to go. Would it make any difference if college football had a commissioner? One commissioner deciding for everybody? Or is it just simply a matter the court's always going to support the player on these issues?
I don't know. I don't know what the House... Look, the House lawyer and judge, they want these Rev Share contracts to work. That's part of the settlement. They want these players to get compensated. The agreement is in place. Of course, there's going to be contracts. And now we're going to begin treating these Rev Share contracts as not real contracts. Then the whole system is going to blow up.
Right. One of the I don't know, the tweets or whatever that you showed said that a part of his contract was he was not permitted to enter the portal, and that's why they're not putting his name into the portal.
Yes.
Can that be upheld? Apparently not.
Well, I mean, if you sign a contract, of course you can't. It's like, I think that's kind of self-explanatory, right? You sign a 1-year deal, you can't go in the portal.
You're right. But right now you can get around that by just simply disenrolling from one school and enrolling in the other.
Sure, you can do that. But I think Washington should make it so he can't play next year.
If there's any way, yes, I agree with you.
Because Demon Williams hurt Washington. And he did not have to hurt Washington. He could have announced that he wanted to enter the portal. He could have said that 5 days ago. He could have said that 6 days ago. He could have said that 3 days ago. But he signed a blessed contract. And that has to have consequences. And if it doesn't, then let's forget this whole pretending that we are for the student athlete and we want them to get paid, because if contracts don't mean anything, that means the school don't have to fulfill their requirement to actually pay the players. So wake up out there, guys. Go ahead, sir.
No, I think it only works one way. The school has to abide by what they sign, but
Yeah.
the player, the 1 or 2% you mentioned, if they want to do something different, so far it seems like they can.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, and I sure hope that somebody can put a rule in that can be enforced, or else I'm with you. Where are we going to go?
A rule that can be like that people can actually follow. Like,
right.
They can enforce it, but I don't know. I just think that cheating is such a part, is the DNA of college football, to the point where I love college football. It's my almost, God, family, little general in college football. But I'm not going to shy away from saying that this is the plight of college football. There is
we
a certain amount of
figured out.
what?
Yeah. We got to get this figured out.
I hope we can, but I think the need to cheat is so great among many institutions and boosters that I think they're going to continue cheating.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Greg. You take care.
You got it. Thank you, buddy. Great call,
Bye.
Fred. Beautiful call. We've got ourselves a super chat. $5 holla. The Eva Badger. The Division III National Championship would have been a great watch party opportunity, just saying. Yep. Yeah, we've had people mention this already. Yes, I blew it. I did not have the opportunity. But going forward, I should be in the studio every day. The foot is starting to heal a little bit. And of course, because I'm the fat guy from Minnesota, little bit more difficult. The Lucas case and this case, they're different. Lucas signed an MOU, a memorandum of understanding, before Rev Share contracts were even starting to happen. This is a true contract. Thank you, Eva Badger. Thank you for the $5 holla. I very much appreciate it. I want to thank you all for joining us today. A live show Wednesday, January 7th. We did our picks against the spread. I took Ole Miss and Indiana based upon a flip of a coin live here in the studio because I had no idea I had no idea who to pick. You guys took Miami and Indiana, and so we'll see what happens. My record is 91-92. Your guys' record is 90-93. As we head into the last 3 games of this incredible football season, the semifinal and the final game, I cannot wait. We're going to be doing a watch party tomorrow night. Now, there is a chance we are going to do a live show earlier in the day. So keep your head on a swivel. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you ring the notification bell because we can come on live at any time. Demon Williams. Demon did the Dawgs dirty. That is my take on it. Put down your take on it after the show. People fill up the comments section. I read all the comments. I want to thank you all for joining us. I want to thank those who donated to this program to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel. Eva Badger, Ricky Tungate, MBM, Ryan Thomas. Thank you guys so very much. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the phone calls. Until next time, from all of us at PATC, to all of you, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much.